Hi, my name is Nick Buris, and this is my WalkAway video. I have been a Democrat since as long as I could vote. I served in the U.S. Navy, and when I registered to vote there, I first voted for Bill Clinton. I believed in a lot of the values. I have always been for the environment. I have, growing up in a lower middle class household in the inner city, I always kind of knew the struggles. I've eaten government cheese. I kind of raised myself up, and I thought that's what it was about, to raise each other up. I actually was on the Morris Democratic Committee once I was moved to Morris County. I had run for council, and I had also run for Board of Education. When I did run for council, here's one of my signs. I ran with the slogan "Positive Parsippany" because I wanted to make positive changes. I told them then and there that I was not going to go negative. They weren't too crazy about the idea, thinking that you can't overcome a lead if you don't go negative. I stood my ground. I may not have won, but I could look all my opponents in the eyes, and I can look at all the voters in the eyes that I did the right thing. Now, once President Trump had gotten elected, things changed in the Democratic Party. People changed. They had become vitriolic. They were full of hate. They got very narrow-minded. I saw people have complete meltdowns. I would go to these Democratic meetings, and I would actually be afraid because it was a scary environment. And then, if you dare disagree with something as simple as Trump going to a military funeral, they would just scream and say you're racist and you're a Nazi and all this kind of, America sucks and, all this fake patriotism. But I'm going to let you look around the room here. I am a patriot. I did serve in the Navy. That's me. Some of my ribbons and awards. So I didn't take kindly to that. I think that the military should have been respected, and at that time they weren't. And then it got even furthermore, whether it was, if it was a women's issue, then I was mansplaining and I was a sexist. If it was any kind of other culture, it was me being, a racist, a Nazi. And then, if I didn't agree with them, then they'd say I was stupid and uneducated. So I want you to come here. There's my MBA in business. There's my degree in chemistry and biology. I also have certifications in project management and Six Sigma. I'm not a stupid man. But because I didn't agree with them, I became that to them. And they said, I didn't understand. I didn't understand the plight of people. These are some of my license plates. I have lived all over the country, well, mostly on the east side. I've lived in red states. I've lived in blue states. And, I've known people. I've lived in swing states. And I do understand it. I've eaten Thanksgiving dinner on plantation homes that still have slave quarters on them. They're not in use, obviously, but I have a keen awareness of these issues. But somehow, I became the enemy because I was a male, I was white, that I couldn't possibly understand any of the plights of anyone growing up. I grew up in West New York, New Jersey, which is one of the most densely populated places on the entire planet. I think it ranks 4 or 5, actually, next to Guttenberg and Union City. But I grew up in the inner city, and I understood it. And I grew up as a minority, and I grew up in a mostly South American community. And I enjoyed that. I loved that. But somehow they couldn't fathom that I could understand growing up in some other area, that I just automatically had a silver spoon in my mouth because of my skin color. I had some kind of privilege. And it got so bad that I had to break, not only from the party, I handed in my resignation from the board for the Morris County Committee, with citing those things, that I felt that I was being made to be the enemy, because I was a male and I happen to be white. That's how I was born. That's my skin color. I can't control that. But somehow the bigotry and racism was blasted upon me, and I couldn't handle it anymore. I did switch over to the Republican Party only because I wanted to vote for a friend of mine who was running in the primary for the Republicans. But I don't consider myself a Republican either, or a rhino, Republican in name only. What I really feel is that the country is ready and needs to have a balanced, moderate third party. No more should we have to worry about who gets to choose the next Supreme Court justice, because they're going to either be far right or far left. We need people who are rational, reasonable, and can actually make the decision that's right, not based on party lines. We need to have a third party so that not one side can control the House or Senate. We need a buffer to make sure that, a one bad season either way can cause crazy things to happen. So I am really appreciating Brandon and the WalkAway movement. It's taken me a long time to do this. I've been following it since the beginning. I think I might have been like 10,000. But because of the hatred that I've been shelled upon, I was kind of afraid. I did make it to the Board of Ed, and I did so as a nonpartisan candidate. And the amount of hate, being a public figure, people would go on your Facebook. I had to change my Facebook name. I was constantly getting, criticized and just, it was just abusive. And so I had done what I had promised to do in my campaign, and then when the year was over, I resigned. But I'm not willing to stay quiet anymore, because this is too important a movement. And what I would hope is that we can start meeting locally. For me in North Jersey area, maybe go to a library or something, so we can share our experiences and try to maybe even carpool down to the Washington March and just get things moving, and maybe even start a third party from here, so that we can finally bring some sense into Washington and the rest of the country, because we cannot do bipartisan anymore. It's just not working. Well, thank you, God bless, and hope to hear from you soon.